From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right, Taylor, 500 help. That's Taylor Heating and Plumbing. Tailor-made service customized to suit your needs of the family in your home. If you have a drafty house and your insulation really isn't up to par, call Taylor 500 help. They will come in, they will do an insulation assessment. They will find out what needs to be fixed in your home, and then you can talk about a plan to fit your budget with Taylor Heating and Plumbing. They do everything: insulation, air conditioning, any plumbing that you need, home energy. They do it all. Maintenance plans and financing. You know, the biggest thing is when you have to replace something big, something major in your home, like an air conditioner or a furnace, you sweat it because it costs a lot, right? You don't have to worry about that with Taylor Heating and Cooling, because they make sure that they have a finance plan that suits your budget and is something that you can pay in your monthly bills. So that is peace of mind. And that's what you get at Taylor Heating and Plumbing. Taylor 500 help, customized to suit your needs. And of course, 24-hour service. Precision Lawn and Garden. When you want the best looking lawn in town, you call Kimberly and Justin at Precision Lawn and Garden, and they will sell you great things to make your lawn the best in the neighborhood. I'm talking zero-turn mowers, weed eaters, push mowers, whatever you need to get it done. Chainsaws, they have it all. You know, they've been servicing the Rochester and surrounding areas since 1969 with great service. They've been around a long time, and that says something about their customer service and the way that Precision Lawn and Garden do business. They do it all with your favorite brands like Toro and Spartan Mowers and Western and Cub Cadet. It's Precision Lawn and Garden, North Avenue in Webster. Please support our advertisers like Taylor 500 Help and Precision Lawn and Garden. They support us here at Kimberly's Revolution. We couldn't do the show without them. And of course, they support the We the People podcast network.
Anybody buying a house? RevereRealty.com. Live from the We the People broadcast studio in sunny, beautiful 73-degree Arundecoit, New York.
Nice.
Chad, wherefore art thou, Chad? Who knows? We got one of the dynamic duo here. Here she is. It's Kimberly.
Hi. It's me. It's you. It's all
me.
of us. It's
in
Austin.
In whatever flesh I have left.
It's you. Yeah. Hey, welcome to Kimberly's Revolution. Glad all of our patriots are here. We got a little bit of a late start, and let me tell you why. First, let me introduce just Tom, sitting right across from me, 800 and some miles away, right across from me.
Something like that.
And of course, Austin, our producer, who makes everything happen. We got a little bit of a late start, and it's because, hi, Austin. There he is, as always, looking fabulous. We got a late start because I had to feed my mother. She's like a toddler. All of a sudden now, this is a new thing. It's not really a new thing, but it's kind of a thing. Only it's been elevated to the nth degree in the last 2 months. She cannot eat after 5 or her stomach hurts. Okay, crazy. So I thought I was going to have enough time to get ready and get her dinner and everything, which has been on the crock pot all day. And then I just had to boil the noodles and add everything in. And I thought I was going to have time to do that. And in the middle of that, she had a meltdown because the Chiefs game on Thursday Night Football is only going to be shown on anyone?
Network.
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime.
You're not going to be able to see future Thursday night NFL games on regular television. You got to see the season opener, and you'll get to see games on Thursday on Thanksgiving, and that's it. Thursday night football games only on Amazon Prime is my understanding. So she was freaking out. I had to
buy the subscription.
I have a subscription, but only on my iPad, because I never watch Amazon Prime. I'm hot, by the way, because I had to run and I had to drain the noodles. And anyway,
well,
so
you
in the
live
middle of
a volcano, so it doesn't surprise me.
in the middle of trying to get ready and trying to make dinner, I had to stop everything because this is what you do when you parent your parent. You have to make sure that the Roku is programmed to her TV, because if it's not and she can't watch the game sitting in her chair, it's a major issue. Stryker says, I don't have ESPN for the Bills game on Monday. There are other ways to watch. Yeah, on Thursday night games, the only way to watch is Amazon Prime. I do have it. Her TV isn't hooked up to a Roku.
Oh. Yeah, $50 will settle that. Well, anyways, I got the special treat for everybody. I got the special treat to watch Kimberly Ray cook for 10 minutes.
You did. I know. So we were supposed to start at 4:30. I apologize for that. So welcome to the We the People Podcast Network. Welcome to Kimberly's Revolution. This kitchen in about 8 weeks is going to undergo a major renovation. I am hoping by then I actually have a microphone so that I don't have to do this podcast via Zoom. Hi, Jason Hibbert. How are you? Glad you're tuning in. I hope that I'm going to be able to do this with a microphone so that it actually sounds good. Hopefully, by the first week of October, I will have my office set up and an actual setup.
Well, we're 1 week away from our second anniversary, September 24th. I don't know. We gonna do anything different, or it's on a Saturday, so we can't really do a show on a Saturday.
Yeah, probably not. You know, we did the first year. I mean, you've done one of these shows. You've done them all. But I wanted to get into a couple things. Hopefully, Chad will join us on a couple of these shows. Today's show name is called Ghost Gun, because I don't know about you, but do guns just pick themselves up and walk away from a crime scene?
Yes.
Do they?
Sure.
Magical.
Somehow that happens.
I don't know how that happens. How does that happen? How do guns simply poof, disappear into thin air? Riddle me that.
I have no idea.
So there's a story that I want to dig into almost right away. And then I want to talk about this migrant issue, because the idiot that is the vice president thinks there's no border issue.
What? I thought that was over. I thought they fixed it.
Yeah. I'm going to show you pictures that are anywhere. But I mean, poor people that live in El Paso. And that idiot mayor in Chicago acts mortified that the Texas governor should send migrants there. But we're going to delve into that story a little bit, as well as a gargantuan alligator that was found just like down the road from where I am here in South Carolina. And that's all my mother can talk about.
Did your neighbors cook and eat them?
No.
What are the neighbors up to? You got to give us an update on the neighbors.
Do you know, I'm not even making this up. Here in South Carolina, throughout the Charleston area, there are alligator processing centers where you can take your alligator and have it processed into meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, make me a pair of boots, will you?
That's good.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a company located in Ravenel, and it's called Alligator Processing Center.
I'm sure it tastes like chicken, right?
It tastes like chicken.
It is good. Have you had gator?
I believe I have sampled. Yes.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I've never had gator, and all my mom can say is, and by the way, she never goes outside.
I only deal with cougars, not gators.
She only goes outside to sit on the deck, right? So unless the gator is physically on the deck, one's not getting her. Do you know? There's a gator right up the road. And I said, I know that. You walk the dogs. They're in danger. You moved us to where there are alligators. I said,
well, yes, she's not wrong.
I said, there are bears in Rochester. So,
The zoo.
No, there are black bears in Rochester. There's like some in Irondequoit and some in Gates. The black bears are everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get these pictures every now and then. It wasn't that long ago that they used a dart to put the bear to sleep, and it fell out of a tree. Don't you remember that?
A bear, not the thousands of alligators. By the way, they probably can climb steps to a deck too. Just letting you know.
I'm sure they can. So we're gonna get to that story here in just a little bit, but I want to talk about Jaquise Davis, who was 16 years old. Can we put up? There he is. There's Jaquise. There's Jaquise wearing his Walmart vest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently someone says, Vicky says, my friends in Mount Pleasant had a 10-foot alligator climb their fence to jump in a pool.
There you go.
Oh, Lord.
Don't
Anyway.
tell Lois that.
Vicky, we'll get to that in a second. So this is Jaquise Davis. And to hear tell a couple of weeks ago, Jaquise Davis, unfortunately, is no longer with us. He was shot and killed about a couple of weeks ago, right? I mean, this goes back to, I don't know, maybe the last week of August, something like that. And the word was that he was shot and killed on his way home from work. And his parents, his mother, and his relatives, Jaquise is a good boy. This is a shame. Oh my Lord, what's the city coming to? This is a kid who was doing the right thing. He was working, yada, yada, yada.
Oops.
Turns out that is the narrative that was spun by the media and the family after the shooting death of Jaquise Davis. After the police report came out yesterday that Jaquise, and work, I guess, meant an armed carjacking. That's, I guess, what we're talking. When we say work, we mean, for all intents and purposes for this conversation, work means an armed carjacking. All right, just for the sake of repeating myself.
By definition, working is receiving something of value, right? For your time. So he's, oh, somebody's back there.
Right. So
Lois.
No, did she walk back there? You can walk in, Mama. That's okay. I don't know where she is. Anyway, so Jaquise wasn't exactly working, I guess. He was robbing someone of their vehicle at gunpoint on the night that he died. And after the armed carjacking, Jaquise, as he's running into a house on Pennsylvania Avenue, stumbles and shoots himself, killing him. He died of his own volition, right? It was Jaquise Davis and an unidentified individual that committed an armed carjacking robbery at the corner of Goodman Street and Garson Avenue. They fled in the stolen vehicle, driving down to 220 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is where Jaquise lives with his family. After parking that stolen vehicle, he runs from the stolen vehicle to the door of his residence, and while running, he tripped, fell, shot himself.
I thought running with scissors was dangerous. Apparently, you're not supposed to run with a loaded gun.
I'm just going to, because my mind works like this. Have you ever seen World War Z with Brad Pitt?
Yeah, sure.
You know how they have to go over to Korea to find where the zombie virus started? And he's got a virologist in the plane with him. They land in Korea. The doctor has the gun, he's holding the gun as if to shoot it. And Brad Pitt says, put that safety on. You never hold a gun like that. And as they're getting out of the plane, the zombies who are triggered by sound come out of the woodwork. The doctor turns around, runs back into the plane, trips, falls, shoots himself. That's all I could think of when I saw this story. And then my mind goes to the second part of the story, the gun from which Jaquise Davis shot and killed himself and that he used in the armed carjacking is gone.
So if Mr. Davis had taken a gun safety training class, he'd still be alive.
Well, let's not even assume that the gun was legal because they haven't even addressed that. They haven't even addressed, and by the way, the Democrat and Chronicle and 10 NBC have not updated the story on this. 13 has, 8 has. I'm not sure about Spectrum News. I don't know what they've done because I don't follow them. But this whole story was a big whole sob story about how this young man, good man, on the right track, on the right footing. It's so sad, blah, blah, blah. And come to find out, he had carjacked someone moments before his own death. So where did the gun go? It is my opinion that his family hid the gun, knowing what Jaquise Davis had been up to, not just on that night, but on many nights prior to the incident that killed him. That Jaquise Davis had been leading a life of crime and his family knew it. And they took that gun and they hid that gun.
Isn't that always a dilemma that, as a parent, that if your kid does something wrong, do you turn them into the cops to face the consequences, or do you figure out how to defend them? That's always something that parents always.
I mean, it's criminal when you're trying to cover up evidence. That's criminal.
I'm telling you right now, Lori's going to bury a body for one of our kids. So that's, who knows, right? It's up to each individual person as to how they defend their children. I don't know.
When you take evidence from a crime scene.
Nobody's going to say it's right.
When you take evidence or hide evidence from a crime scene and then you knowingly go on TV and cry that this is a whole, this young man was good and he was a victim of gun violence in the city and that he didn't deserve this and that he was, he was a target. I mean, that was a whole lie. That was 100% lie, non-truth, spinning the story to fit whatever crazy narrative they had.
Well,
he's a good boy at East High School.
Police turned in on it apparently, right? Because the police didn't say that.
So I want to just play you one of these news videos from before the story came out that Jaquise Davis and a friend of his were involved in an armed carjacking. I want to play you this video that came out, and I can't remember, it might have been Channel 8. And I beg of them, and I ask of them, you have to do an update on this story. Ethically and credibly, you have to do a follow-up to this story. Let's play that video on Jaquise Davis.
Of a grieving family speak out tonight after the death of 16-year-old Jaquise Davis, who was shot and killed in front of his home on 4th Street Monday night.
Natalie Kutchko heard from relatives, among them a notable anti-gun violence advocate in our community. Natalie joins us now with more on their calls for change and justice. Natalie.
Loved ones tell us Jaquise Davis had just gotten home from work Monday when he was gunned down and killed before reaching his front door. His great aunt is used to helping those in the community cope with this type of loss, and now she's lending some of that help to her own family. For years, Wanda Ridgway has worked on the front lines of the city. As director of Rise Up Rochester, it's her job to console loved ones in the midst of their grief, specifically due to gun violence. Monday, she lost one of her own, 16-year-old Jaquise Davis.
I go through this several times with other families, but when it hits home, it's different.
Davis' family says he was a loving and smart kid. A member of the football team, Davis would have been a junior this year at East High School. Relatives say he had just arrived home from a shift at Walmart Monday when he was in the crossfire.
He did not deserve this. He died in the front steps of his home.
Crossfire?
His 5-year-old brother saw him laying down there on that ground. His sister, they don't deserve that. His parents don't deserve that. We need justice.
Family members say they do not believe Davis was the intended target. Some are calling on other parents in the city.
I'm just pleading with the parents. Keep a tight hand on your children. Know where they are, who they're talking to, and who is trying to turn them away from being good.
Ridgway says she's hopeful for change while seeking justice for her great-nephew and the dozens of other lives lost in Rochester.
We're not living to die, and it seems like that's what's happening. We got to put politics aside, and we all got to stand together and take back our community. If not, guess what? It could be you tomorrow. It could be someone else the next day.
Okay,
That's
so
really good. I believe it.
yeah, so there was the spin, right? You heard her say that there's got to be justice. Adam Chodak better get his microphone and TV camera over there to talk to the family and find out where they hid the gun. They knew what happened. They knew that he had fallen with a gun and shot himself. They knew, and they hid the gun, and they passed it off as if he was shot randomly. And they rode that story until they couldn't ride the story any longer. When the police came out and said, yeah, that's not how this went down. Jaquise Davis, whatever he was, all the other things, a junior at East High School, a football player, a brother to a 5-year-old who apparently saw this thing go down, as you just heard in that. None of that would have happened if Jaquise Davis wouldn't have carjacked someone at gunpoint. I hope they're okay. I hope those people aren't traumatized for life because of the actions of Jaquise Davis. And by the way, this isn't the first time, I'm sure, that this guy has done this with his friends. It's the time that it ended poorly for Jaquise. And so as they were spinning the story of the poor mom and justice needs to be done, and the poor 5-year-old that saw his brother shoot and kill himself accidentally because he tripped and the gun went off because he had it cocked, because he intended on shooting that person in the car when they didn't give him the car, right? That's what a carjacking, we saw it happen to a man in Gates who wasn't going to give up his car, and he got shot in the head by 2 thugs. That's what Jaquise Davis is. He wasn't a good boy. He was your common city thug who was out to do damage and harm others and to take what they had. He didn't have a car, but he wanted someone else's car. So he took that car at gunpoint, and it ended badly. And in order to spin it to look like it was something else, someone at that house on Pennsylvania at 4th Street, 220 Pennsylvania Avenue, someone took that gun. Someone knows where the gun is, and they hid that gun. And then after spinning the narrative, they go to a GoFundMe and set up an account for his mother.
Go fraud me.
To which at last count, and this was this morning, I'm not sure what it is now. I don't know, maybe if you can bring it up there, Austin, but I think it was up to 8,000 or 9,000.
$8,255.
There you go. On fraudulent information.
Are they going to pay out on that? Go fraud me? They wouldn't give their money.
I don't know how it works. I don't know how GoFundMe works when The whole GoFundMe was set up based on a lie.
Yeah.
He wasn't gunned down randomly in the city. It didn't happen randomly. It just so happened he was coming home from work. Good boy that he is. Excellent student.
Is that a current thing, Austin? That post? Because the last
The
person,
GoFundMe?
yeah, the last person that donated was 10 days ago. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
So I'm hoping that GoFundMe has not paid out. But I don't know. They may have already. I don't know how GoFundMe works. They may have already
Well,
paid
there's
out.
almost a couple hundred people that probably want their money back, right?
They should be given their money back, and the money should have to be paid back by the family, because one, the GoFundMe was based on a lie, and two, someone from this family knew what happened and tried to cover it up. That's the worst. That's the worst part of the whole thing, is that as a community, we were made to feel that this was a horrible situation.
Well, it still is.
For this
a
kid.
young man coming into the prime of his life is dead because he made a bad decision. Who knows if that was a track record for him or he just, made a bad decision. But either way, he's dead, right? So,
well, I'm going to say you don't jump into crime immediately armed carjacking. I don't know. I think
that's probably not,
I think you work your way up to armed carjacking. Maybe you start stealing from the Walmart where you work. You help your buddies with the TV out the back door. I mean, you don't even need to do out of back door anymore. They walk out with cartfuls of stuff,
right,
and never get caught. But I am going to just go out on a limb and say that the armed carjacking was not the first criminal activity that Jaquise Davis has been involved in. And that may seem harsh, but let's be honest, you don't start just randomly murdering people. You have to start somewhere else.
Well, either way, he's dead. So unfortunately,
either way, he's dead.
Yeah.
And either way, someone covered it up. And either way, someone hid a gun.
Right.
And either way, GoFundMe, people were built out of $8,200.
Yeah.
And that money should not go to that family.
Well, remember that story a few years ago with that woman in Canandaigua? She said she had cancer and she got like thousands and thousands of dollars and she never had cancer. Whatever happened to her? Did she go to jail or something or have to get the money back?
We covered that extensively. I was doing mornings then.
Right.
I was doing mornings. So I just, the fact that the media, the Rochester City newspaper, the Democrat and Chronic, you know who I'm talking to when I say Rochester City Magazine. You know who you are, because I know some of them watch this show. Shame on you for not doing stories like this, trying to fool the collective public in Rochester to make it seem like this was a good, upstanding kid, when as a matter of fact, he was out committing crimes when he got out from his job at Walmart or wherever.
What time did this occur?
10:30 at night.
Oh, okay. Well,
10:30 at night.
I was going to say nothing good happens after midnight because I figured it might be a little later, but
no,
at
10:30
16
at night.
years old, and what day of the week was this? Was this this was before school started?
It was a Monday night.
All right.
It was a Monday night, 10:30. I mean, whatever. Hey, carjacking. It's a little early in the week for me for a carjacking, but I mean,
at 16 years old, I was at home at 10:30 at night.
It's a different time.
I wasn't outside, right?
It's a different time.
Right.
But I just find this whole story sickening, and the fact that the way it was spun, and now the only media outlets that have done an update on the story have been 13 and I do believe 8 had an update on the story. But you don't see the cry. Ooh, you don't see Adam Chodak out there saying, why did you try to fool the city? Where did the gun go? Did you hide the gun? You don't see anyone asking the family now, where's the gun? Why did you try to cover up the story?
Is there any
Why-
chance they don't believe the police report? Maybe they don't think it's correct.
All you have to do is look at cameras, and so I'm sure they got camera surveillance.
Do they?
At Goodman and Garson, yes. And I'm going to tell you why, because I'm going to tell you why they have surveillance there. Because this shooting happened in the same area as that mass shooting in September of 2020, when 2 teens were killed and 16
Pennsylvania Avenue,
they were having a party
over
near
by the public market there.
near the 200 block of Pennsylvania Avenue. Yep. Yeah, ghost gun. That gun is just a ghost. It just, poof, it disappears in thin air. I know some people have a different definition for a ghost gun, but Jaquise Davis is dead from a gun that he used in a criminal activity, and then he fell on it running into his house, and it went off and it killed him. Do we feel bad about that?
Well, with the autopsy, they can.
I don't.
With the autopsy, they can tell if it's a point blank shot, right, or as opposed to drive by or from a distance.
And they clearly have made that.
Right.
I mean, the report came out.
Right.
He shot himself when he fell on the gun. Don't run with guns, kids.
No running with guns.
So weird that the gun just disappears. The gun just disappears. All right. I want to thank everyone for listening to Kimberly's Revolution on the We the People Podcast Network and tuning in every week. We so appreciate that. Please support our advertisers, Taylor Heating and Plumbing, Taylor 500 Help, and then of course Precision Lawn and Garden. I want to show you this picture.
Why don't we start throwing Revere Realty in there too now?
And Revere Realty. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, we should probably run a plug for them, before and after the show, since
we work for them.
Since we work for them, right?
I'm a realtor through Revere. And by the way, someone asked me the other day, can you sell a house in South Carolina? Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
I have my license. In fact, I have one that's coming up very shortly that's going to be for sale in Hamlin.
Nice.
Yeah. And I do, they're just getting things fixed up right now, but we should.
Hamlin's our kind of people, Kimberly.
I know. Well, I lived in the Hilton Hamlin area.
Right.
I bought my first house in Hilton. So I will tell you that the house is going to be in the 195 to 200 range with all updated everything in Hamlin. So if you know someone that might be interested, keep an eye out. We'll let you know when the house goes on the market. It's not ready yet, but I'm thinking probably in 2 to 3 weeks. So that's going to be exciting. So I'm gonna be selling that house, and yeah, it's gonna be good. Christine says the mother said, "Watch your children, keep an eye out for them."
Right.
She knew and was telling people from experience. Not watching is what happens when you don't.
Well, you never think it's going to be your kids, right?
They got up in front of the TV cameras, knowing what they knew, and said that.
Unless they believed it at that time,
They got
maybe they believed that story.
The gun was in his hand. The gun was in his hand. There's no way.
Maybe the friend got rid of the gun, or somebody else.
I'm thinking the friend ran when Jaquise Davis ran into his house and accidentally shot himself. So
we'll keep an eye on this story, and we'll probably update it in the future. But
yeah,
interesting.
That's
what
just
else you got.
I got a couple of things. One, I didn't even know that you could cash checks from the Monroe County Clerk's Office, fraudulently change them, and then cash them for yourself. Tom,
you didn't know you could do that? Everybody knows you could do that. What's the matter with you? Sure, why not?
Well, there's some fraudulent activity going on in the Monroe County Clerk's Office.
Shocker there, right?
Yeah. It's shocking that the Monroe County Clerk's Office has known about this for over a month and a half, and it's just now coming out. So someone stole And the only reason it came out is because James Van Brederode, the former chief of police in Gates, tweeted about it. That's the only reason this story came out. That's it. We probably would have had the story had we been on the air, Tom, right? In the city of Rochester, keeping things, under control.
Are we considered? We're not considered a news outlet, are we?
No, this is a podcast, Kimberly's Revolution.
And now the news.
So someone stole 16 checks that were on the way to the Monroe County Clerk's office, altered them, fraudulently cashed them for $32,000.
Oh, I was going to say, were they those class action lawsuit checks you get in the mail for 75 cents?
The checks were mailed in late May, illegally cashed in June, according to the county clerk. The matter was brought to the attention of the Monroe County Sheriff, and they're only now investigating. This happened in June. It's now September. The story came out 3 days ago.
Well, it's only 32,000. No big deal.
The checks came in from people who are just finishing off paying their mortgages. So either they or their banks sent in the payment of around $50 to formally record the mortgage discharge at the clerk's office, because that's what you have to do when you sell your house. Pain in the ass. You got to get down there by 2 or they don't enter it into the books. I don't even know. But the sums on the checks were changed to higher amounts.
Yeah, that hasn't been going on for years. Don't they tell you when you write your check out in words, you make sure you start at the beginning of the check and then you don't leave any spaces next to when you write the number out? It's like check 101 writing, right?
This has got to be in-house, right? It's someone within the Monroe County Clerk's office, right?
I would think so.
You're going to get caught. I just looked at that and I went, are you kidding me? Don't we know better by now? You're not going to get away with it. You're going to get caught. If they don't already know who did it, right? I want to show you a picture of this thing that my mom's like Rain Man. She's got to eat by 5. I told you that's why we started the show late today.
Right.
8 by 5 because if she eats after 5, her stomach hurts, that kind of thing. Can't sleep. I get an upset stomach, blah, blah, blah. So it's like dealing with a toddler. So now she's on this whole thing about gators. Anytime that there's a story on gators, and there's a lot of them, she freaks out. So
hey, Ma, we got a story about gators. Get out here.
Let me show you this picture.
Whoa.
That's a monster.
That is a big gator.
Up the road at Lake Marion, South Carolina. Lake Marion, South Carolina. This gator weighed 600 pounds and was caught by hunters near Lake Marion in South Carolina over the weekend. It was a 13-foot bull gator weighing 625 pounds. That's crazy. And there's actually taxidermy shops that will, I don't know, what do? They let you keep the head and they stuff it. I don't want that thing in my house.
Well, Chubbs had a head like that with the gator. When Happy Gilmore killed the gator, he got the one that with the eye was missing.
Yeah.
He was going to give it to Chubbs and then he fell out the window. Remember that?
No, I know that you're going to find this shocking.
You never watched Happy Gilmore?
But I am not a big fan of Adam Sandler.
No?
My husband loves Adam Sandler and all those stupid Adam Sandler movies. I
they've
not.
gotten worse over the years, but Happy Gilmore is in the top 5.
No, I only like dramas and shoot 'em up movies. That's the kind of movie I like. Vicky says, keep your pets safe. Yeah, I go out walking the dogs. Sometimes I'll walk the Chihuahuas with me, and sometimes I don't, just depending on the heat and such. But I always take Dixie. And if you think you can outrun these suckers, they're fast. They're fast. They can catch you. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. I don't know if you noticed or if you'd heard the story, but I do believe that the feds are raising the interest rates again next week.
I haven't heard that. Well, they got to they got to curb the inflation. It's still, I mean, the inflation's still at like 9% year over year. That's why the stock market crashed yesterday.
Tom, what are you talking about? President Biden says all is well.
Oh yeah, well he
all
doesn't.
All is well.
He just reads what he's like. Anchorman. He's like Ron Burgundy. He just reads whatever they put on the screen.
In fact, geriatric Biden threw an inflation reduction party,
which had no inflation reduction to it,
on the White House lawn with the other geriatric there, James Taylor, and I guess that's his wife. I didn't even know he was married. I got to be honest.
I'm a fan of James Taylor.
I saw him at CMAC. It was a great concert, actually. Yeah, it was a great concert.
Spring, summer, and fall.
Whenever I see your smiling face, Tom.
Yes.
we could go on forever and just, but yeah, he had classic folk rocker James Taylor kick off the White House lawn inflation reduction party. Minutes after the party started, the stock market crapped the bed big time. Big time.
Yeah, how many trillions did the working people of the United States and around the world, how many trillions got lost in their 401k?
I don't even want to look at my 401k.
Good thing I don't have one.
The stocks took a tumble of over 1,300 points. I mean, I want to show you, if you listen, they want to make you think that paying $3.40 or $3.20 for gas is like this great gift, right?
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit. Do not believe the brainwashing.
I still paid over $4 today.
What did you?
Yeah.
They're trying to spin this. It's not working. I mean, the inflation is crazy. Numbers came out yesterday. We're still up, 8.3%, the highest level it's been since 1980.
Yep.
And look at what they're charging for eggs. It's insanity what they're charging. Butter is double. Yeah, butter is double.
Remember when you went into Wegmans, basically eggs were free. They always had those, whatever, that Shoppers Club thing where you got eggs for like 39 cents if you bought something. Now they're like $2-3 for eggs.
Yeah. I mean, you can't even make it up. They hold an inflation reduction party and basically the bottom drops out of the economy.
Well, nobody believes any of this bullshit, do they?
I mean, and we have spent, the Biden administration.
Spring, summer. No.
The Biden administration has spent this country into a disaster economically. And now the feds are going to raise interest rates again next week. And that is going to, I don't even know what it's going to do to the housing market.
Right. Hey, Kimberlina, you know, all you have to do is call and I'll be there, right?
Funny. The Biden administration, I don't know what we have to do to get ourselves out of this. But the vice president.
We have to vote it out. That's how we get out of it.
The vice president is much worse.
What? Who?
I want to show you.
We have one of those?
Yeah, I want to show you a couple of pictures. Do you have the migrants in the street picture? These were taken. Let's do that first. Migrants in the street where they're in sleeping bags on the street. That's in El Paso. This is in El Paso, Texas. This picture was, Kimberly, when was that picture taken? This picture was taken last night. This picture was taken last night. El Paso, Texas looks like a third world nation. Can you imagine what those people are going through in El Paso? So that's last night on the streets of El Paso. Let's go back to the other picture.
Tell you what, though, I mean, it looks like they're at least clean. I mean, you see these pictures from Los Angeles and San Francisco.
It's not.
People living on the street where they just basically shit right where they are.
That's what these people are doing.
I mean, they probably have
Tom,
more respect for them.
no, Tom, listen, there are no facilities for these people. There are none. 1,000 migrants have been released into El Paso since last Thursday as the border crisis continues. Let's show those other
It's funny
pictures.
how we're not hearing about these caravans on the news anymore. You
Look at
notice
that
They stopped talking about that.
That picture was taken yesterday.
Hmm. Is that the same bridge like a couple months ago where they had like 20,000 people under it?
Different city. This is El Paso.
Same,
This is
same thing, different city.
The surge of migrants, mostly from Venezuela, has overwhelmed the support systems in El Paso, Texas. And by the way, none of those people that you're seeing in those pictures are criminals. All those people are good, hardworking people.
Absolutely.
There's not one bad person in all of that, right?
Not one, no.
Not one bad person.
No.
Kamala says that the border is secure. Look at those people coming in. The border is secure, though. Let's play Kamala on Meet the Press.
They still let her do shows like that?
Final topic here, since we're here in Texas, I want to ask you about the border. Would you call the border secure?
I think that there is no question that we have to do what the president and I asked Congress to do. Is the first request we made. Pass a bill to create a pathway to citizenship. The border is secure, but we also have a broken immigration system, in particular over the last 4 years before we came in, and it needs to be fixed.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border.
Blame the Republicans.
You're confident this border is secure?
We have a secure border.
Okay.
That is a priority for.
Okay.
We need the TikTok of that. Do you have it?
No.
Oh God, she's a genius. I love her.
No.
Why can't she be vice president? The girl that does Kamala TikToks.
Again, 1,000 migrants released into El Paso in the past week. Many on the streets, no access to toilets, showers, food, vile conditions. There is a TV station, I think it's an ABC affiliate, KVIA, in El Paso, Texas, that said that the smell of human waste is overwhelming in the area where they are. It's incredible that the shelters in El Paso have been overwhelmed and the people are living on that. But Kamala says the border is secure. And I'm just going to point this out to you. Let's go back to that one picture. Of these people here and of the other picture where there was a 3, so they're here in our country. They're here. They're already here. These people that are walking across on the rocks in the water, they're making their way across the border that Kamala just said is secure, right? Okay. They said that they'll be able to find the ones that are the criminals. Okay, no worries then. Now, if Kamala says the border is secure, then I'm not worried that anyone in that picture right there under the overpass, I'm sure that they're all good, law-abiding citizens, right? None of them are sexual predators. None of them are rapists. None of them are
there's no
terrorists.
human trafficking going on there. There's no fentanyl coming across in any of those pictures. I can't see any fentanyl, so I guess there isn't any. I'm
sure everything is okay. We don't have to worry.
Looks fine to me. I believe her.
Looks fine to me. And let's hear from, I think this is a Yuma, Arizona representative. I think he's with the border. Let's go to that video.
Okay, Jonathan. So we're out here. I'm joined with Jonathan Lyons, Yuma County Border Supervisor. And, just this week we had Kamala Harris who said that the border is secure. I mean, Jonathan, what would you have to say about that for actually living down here in Yuma?
Well, I'd like to take the opportunity to invite Vice President Harris to come out to the border to actually see
Good luck with
thousands
that.
or so people that come across on a daily basis here in the Yuma sector.
Right, and we're seeing it from how many countries were represented here down in Yuma alone?
Probably this morning we have about 12 different countries.
Yeah.
We have 106 in total that we've logged and registered so far. 17. From
Stop that right there.
I mean, this is a disaster.
Okay. So just yesterday morning, the guy with the Yuma Border Control said they had logged individuals coming across the border into Yuma, 12 different countries. Can we roll that back? Just because I don't think anyone really grasps this situation.
Basis here in the Yuma sector.
Right, and we're seeing it from how many countries were represented here down in Yuma alone?
Probably this morning we have about 12 different countries.
Yeah.
We have 106 in total that we've logged and registered so far. 17 from special interest countries.
Yeah.
Wow. 12 different countries. But I'm sure they're all law-abiding citizens. I'm sure they're not trafficking, drugs, humans. I'm sure they don't have ill intent towards the United States of America. I'm sure they've all been vetted, right? I'm sure we're fine. But those poor people, American citizens that have to live in Texas and Arizona along the border that is not secure, and what they have to deal with on a regular basis is ridiculous and criminal. And
well, everybody
president need to fix this situation.
Right,
They
but
weren't coming across in droves like this when Trump was president.
this has been going on for 40 years, and it's obviously worse now. But everybody is so desensitized, or whatever the word is, by this. You think about when they say 1 million people, right? It's like, 1 million people, give or take. Well, you think about like the NFL, there's 15 teams. If 70,000 people go to each game, that's 1 million people. Think about filling the entire NFL stadiums on a week basis. That's 1 million people. I mean, that's just a tremendous, huge amount of people that are crossing this border, and nobody, I mean, you got to put them somewhere. Think of 1 million people.
Yes, you know what, you put them back to where they came from.
Well, yeah, well, that's what they used to do. We don't do that now.
No, not under this administration. But how would you like to be a resident of Yuma or El Paso? Do you know some of these people are coming across and they're robbing the people that live in this town? They are shooting and killing their dogs. I mean, that was a big story I saw over the weekend, is that some of these individuals that are running through backyards are shooting the dogs that are going after them. I mean, I'm sorry. You shoot my dog and I'm coming. I'm going to shoot you right there in my yard. But that's what they're doing. That's what these migrants are doing, is they're running in and they're running through people's backyards that live along the border, and they're killing livestock and they're killing pets and they're robbing houses.
With their legal firearms that they brought with them.
It's the state of the border and the fact that Biden is having inflation reduction parties is just, the whole thing is comical. But this is where we are. Again, I can't, when I saw these videos, I couldn't even believe it.
It's the magic trick that's going on in the White House. You know, don't look at, how many times have you said that? Don't look at what's going on over here. Be distracted and look over there at the shiny object. Don't look at this.
Right, exactly.
So it's all smoke and mirrors.
Well, that's going to do it for me. Sorry we got a late start today on Kimberly's Revolution. Want to thank Austin for coming in today and putting together. Without Austin, I don't know where we'd be. We had so much stuff and we got to all of it today because he's fast.
I got one thing that I was reading about. It's kind of a Gen Z thing that I was like, I never heard of it. Have you ever heard of quiet quitting?
Yes.
You've heard of that?
I have.
I was reading about that. I'm like, that's what they do now. I mean, we just called it slacking off or being lazy, but you know, people are going to their jobs and they're bragging that they're quiet quitting. They're getting paid basically to do nothing.
Haven't you been doing that your whole life?
No, I work for myself. You know, I have to eat what I kill.
Can't you just take the joke and roll with it?
Yeah, okay. I'm lazy.
Okay. That's going to do it for Kimberly's. But yes, I've heard of quiet quitting.
I've never heard of that. I was surprised by that.
I've been doing it for years.
Something else that's been going on for years, and now it has a Gen Z name to it.
We have to name everything. Yeah, exactly. All right. So the name of today's show is Ghost Gun. Listen, we're on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kimberly's Revolution. It's free to subscribe. We want to thank our sponsors, of course, Revere Realty. If you have a house that you want to sell, if you want to buy a house, please reach out to us. We will do everything we can. Yes, I can do it from here. It's amazing.
Numbers right on the screen, people.
You can call us. You can reach out to me at kgoodman@revererealty.com. That's kgoodman@revererealty.com. So do that. And until next time, thanks to Taylor's Heating and Plumbing and Precision Lawn and Garden, as we always say.
God bless. Be kind to others. Oh, no.